Okay, let's see if you can hear me. It looks like you can. Wonderful. All right, just gonna check real quick on the YouTube stream to make sure it's pulled up correctly. Remember slow, okay, but I know it's working on the YouTube side. All right, cool. So that's the most important thing. Hello, welcome to everyone who is joining my stream today. I'm in a different background, different setting today. Changed rooms, so get a little bit of a fresh start. Sorry for missing last week. I know that last week I had missed. I had some stuff going on. I don't know why I have three pictures of footballs here. um, so this week we're back at it. We're going to be taking a step back really quick, remembering what we're doing, why we're doing it, uh, doing a mock model in Excel actually to really get a view of what it is that I'm trying to produce, especially for the first model, right? The version one is something that we're just going to start. We'll make it happen. We'll make it work. And then we're going to go back once we have our pipeline, right, from gather data, build functions, build model, uh, actually make sure we have a prediction, and then test our predictions. We're going to make sure to build all that first. So the model itself is actually going to be pretty simple. It'll be doing everything else and creating, right, this one big massive system that works together. So let's go ahead and get started for today. I'm going to go ahead. This is actually not the odds, not the model I wanted to look at. So over under project references, mock model. Here we go. So I prepared this for you. I didn't want to spend too much time preparing this. I just wanted to kind of give a sense of what it is that I'm doing and what I'm aiming for. So I went date. So this is just an example date, right? 5/13/18. Home team was Miami. Away team was Atlanta. Um, and then here's kind of what I'm aiming for. I want to get the information from the away team, and I want to get their batting performances, right? So I want to understand how well the pitching performance is here and the batting performance is here. I want to understand how the pitcher performed, and this is 4-week XBA. What I mean by 4-week XBA is 28-day look back period. So I'm going to look back 28 days for this pitcher, so it's more of a recency effect kind of thing. And then I'm just looking at expected batting average. And I'm going to do the same thing for batters 1 through 9. So how I'm going to do that is I had a couple thoughts about this, right? But what I'm thinking is I'm just going to take the top 9 like plate appearances. The batters have the top 9 plate appearances, and we'll call them batters 1 through 9. Um, right? NL gets weird because then the pitcher becomes batter 9. For AL, you have the designated hitter, so batter 9 is designated hitter. Um, and also considered, right, like saying, like putting things in, like this has to be catcher, this has to be first base, this has to be second base, this has to be third base, this has to be shortstop, and then you have OF, and then you either have DH or pitcher. I thought about doing something like this. I might, we'll see how building that kind of constraint in goes and what that ends up looking like. Haven't thought about too much about what that looks like yet. Um, so for example, this would go here also. So then now we move into our home section. Home pitcher 4-week XBA. Again, that's pitching side, not hitting side. And then let's make sure to do just values. Okay. And then again, batters 1 through 9. Remember, we're going for first 5. That might actually be more complicated instead of doing full game when we look at the numbers. When we look at actually trying to pull that in programmatically, and then first 5 home runs scored, first 5 away runs scored. So I'm going to have 2 different Ys here. So essentially this one row has 2 models because I want to predict home runs and I want to predict away runs. So 2 different Ys there. And then opening line, I looked up for this game, it was 4. And then over, yes or no. You can do it like that, or you can do over under. For this one, it was under, right? Because opening line was 4 for the first 5. Team scored 1 run total, so the the opening line over under was under. So this is kind of what I'm thinking about today. We're going to start here, and then we'll move in to the next bit. But let's go ahead and start here. Let's open up, right? I'm going to open up, kind of deactivate. Let's look for which environment we should be using. It is conda activate over under project. And also make sure you get to the right directory. So we're going to change directories and go to over under project, as we know that it's been called. We're going to do code, and we're going to open up VS Code. So opening up VS Code, I got to make some changes. GitHub, let me see, dev. This is where my stuff is. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead actually and open up a new file here. And this is going to be gathergameinfo.py. Make sure we're still running. Yes, everything looks good. So now we have gathergameinfo.py up. Sorry, I closed out my internet browser. I'll open that back up. Way to borrow just some opening code from other Python files so I don't have to rewrite all of it. Let's see, I'm going into, nope, not this one. Go into dev, I'm going to go into pitching performance. And actually I want to go into the utils, this one. There we go. So I opened up a few things here. I want, well, that's fine. Pitching performance notebook. So purpose of this is get game info, gather game info. And then what is today? Today's the 21st. Gather game information into one data frame. Granularity is date, home team, visiting team, then pitcher, XBA, batter, XBA for both teams. That's what we'll focus on later, but we're going to focus on for now is as we kind of put it. So open up, make sure stream's running good. Okay, seems like stream is running great. It's good to know. I'm in the chat, so if you need anything, let me know. Chat is up and ready. So pandas, we do want pandas. Max columns, I probably want 500, probably 50. I'll be the most. And then let's get rid of all of this. We'll start here. Make sure you've got your environment up. So we're going to open up a terminal. Make sure we've got the right environment. I don't know why it didn't open up in the right environment. Conda environment list. Conda activate over under project. Let's open it back up. I like to open up a fresh CSH. A lot of times when I'm opening this over under project, Python, import Thai baseball, just make sure that's working. Okay, that is definitely working. Good to know. Let's try this again. Doesn't want to run. No module named pandas. I'm confused as to why it doesn't want to run. Let's check out, do command, I'm going to do Command Shift P. I'm going to do Python, select interpreter, make sure that it's using the over under project. Also right here. So you don't have to do Command J, you don't have to do Command J or sorry, Command Shift P to interpreter. You can actually just click right down here on 3.10.6, but again, we should make sure we're using the right environment. Okay, good. So this time we did see it actually took through the steps of activating the content environment. Before we didn't see that, so we're good. Okay, sorry. What else do we need? That might be it. All right. So something else as a note, data to use StatCast. I'm really going to focus on using StatCast data. It's probably the most up-to-date as well as the most granular, the most specific. So I'm going to move over now to PyBaseball. And remember, what do we want to get? We want to get date, visiting, like home team and away team. So let's hit it StatCast. We're going to use the StatCast general function, and we're going to bring it over. So let's bring it over. Start date time to search from. The game day equals 2018-05-13. So we're going to look for our fun day of May 13th, 2018. We're also going to end on that day. Team, so let's define a team. Team equals Atlanta, as we kind of saw in the example that we're working with. So let's pull specifically for Atlanta. Verbose and parallel are both true by default, so that's fine. And then we need to make sure we import this. So from PyBaseball, import StatCast. Great. Get it done. So game day is our start and end date. Team is Atlanta. Actually, I don't know why I double did that. So it is now pulling all the StatCast data for Atlanta from this game. So it's specifically looking at that. Now that we have Atlanta StatCast data, right? Let's check out Atlanta StatCast. I know let's check out the columns. Make sure we get the right columns in here. Actually, you need to save it to the object. Okay. Atlanta StatCast. Oh, look, home team, away team, game date. Absolutely perfect. So, game date, home team, away team. And since it's showing a row for every pitch, we want to make sure we chop duplicates. Great. There's also game ID in here, which I want to grab. Game PK, and we'll probably put that at the beginning, actually. So now we've got the game ID, the game date, the home team, and the away team. You can see that we have the primary key. That's what PK means. Game date, home team, away team. We know basic stats, basic information about this game. Want to wrap this up nicely into something that looks a little bit better. So this is where I think about building a function, right? So I think about I want to have something where I can just kind of plug and play with different bits of information because we see we're initializing variables here with certain values. And when we do this in our code, we probably need to be building a function. When you're initializing hard values in your code to then like run something like especially as arguments into another function, it's kind of like a wrapper function, right, around the StatCast function. So I'm going to do that. Gather game info. And then we're going to do game day and team. That's simple. Then we're going to pull, and we're really just going to return StatCast with start date equals game day, end date time equals game day, and team equals team. I want the flexibility to be able to choose a lot of columns, so that's not quite going to put this column filtering inside of the function yet. I could though, kind of up like teach his own. It's up to the person. I'm going to be end up pulling in a lot more columns, so I might actually want to do that. But let's check it out. Let's see what it looks like before we do that. So gather game info, 2018, 05, 13, Atlanta. You see how this looks a lot cleaner than all of that, right? And now we can, the great thing about that is we can run like literally anything. We could run 2022 uh, 10-10, and we could see if there was a game for, I don't know, the New York Yankees on this day. So nothing. So there was no game for the Yankees on that day. Let's look. New York Yankees 2022 schedule. Just make sure things work, right? Just make sure we have the right information. So I'm gonna scroll all the way down. Yeah, so they got eliminated by Texas before the 10th. So if your shape of this, you could even do this, right? Data if data shape 0, turn none, else return data. Data.shape0 is going to return the number of rows, so it's actually going to return 0. It's not going to return a truthy value. I just realized this. So if rows, if data.shape equals 0, return none, otherwise return data. Something like that. And then actually that can be made a lot cleaner by just returning data if data.shape 0 is not equal to 0. Um, Maybe it can't do that. Maybe it does need to be like how it was before. It's fine. We can leave it like that. So now we should be able to get just a none from this. Good. Yeah. So it didn't return like the blank data frame like it did before. But again, it just kind of depends on what functionality we want. If we want it to return none, if we were to set that equal to none, probably come back as true. Yep. So that worked. That worked out nicely, but it all depends on what we're looking to do. So we'll run with this as gather game info for now. Now Atlanta game, we'll save that to an object. Let's pull up Atlanta game. I want to make sure you're seeing everything I'm seeing. Yep, should be good so far. Awesome. This is why I called it getting dirty with data. We really are today getting dirty with the data. Now, 141 rows. Actually, like right off the bat, I actually noticed 141 rows coming back. That shape 0 divided by 9. It's like 15 pitches an inning because this is on a pitch level. 15.66 pitches an inning. So like between 15 and 16 an inning. I'm gonna say that's more like a half inning. So if that's more like a half inning, that means it's not giving me the full view, right? That means I'm missing something. Um, and that's just like a note for later. It's important for now, but we are able to get at least the game info. We're able to get all that information. Um, So I'm just trying. I ran into this earlier, so I was thinking about why that would be happening. But Atlanta game, and we wanted the same thing early as we did earlier, right? Game PK, and we're really trying to grab all this information. Boom, and now we could run that for anything. But that's the first game info. Cool. Now, what did we want next? We'll organize these files and things later, um, but I wanted to make sure we can get through some good coding today. And organization can happen later, or it can happen right now. So hold on 1 second. All right, got to that. Now that we have the game info, we want to, what was it we wanted to get? We wanted to get pitcher 4 week expected batting average. Who do we want? Home pitcher and away pitcher. So for this specific game, example is Miami pitcher. And for this specific example is Atlanta pitcher. Because we see MIA in our data frame, and we see ATL because it's a team we are actually looking for. So we want to grab those two pitchers' kind of performances. So what do we need to do? We need to go back in to StatCast if we were looking at Miami, but we also need to go back into StatCast if we're looking at Atlanta. So we need to gather previous games information. I see my stream has paused. You all are still seeing me, which is good. I mean, at least on OBS, I'm still seeing myself. Just want to make sure my stream is still working. Refresh my page. Okay, I think we're good. So I think it's really slow. I think it's a little laggy. That should fix itself afterwards. Um, Sorry about that. If it is laggy, I might need to start recording these and uploading them later. Streaming might not have the capability for, the capacity for it. But anyway, we're gonna push through this week. So game info is a data frame that looks like this, right? And we have the away team for the specific game. So, but our team was Atlanta. So now that we know we want the pitching information from Atlanta, who is the Atlanta pitcher this day? That's also something interesting we might want to know. So we want pitcher game info. So these are the different pitchers used in the game. But that doesn't really help us, right? Because what I want to do is I want to specifically grab the starting pitcher for the Atlanta Braves. So if I know that Atlanta is the away team, and I can get the first inning because it's on a pitch level, that means I should be able to get the starting pitcher for the Atlanta Braves with StatCast data. Atlanta game. Let's look at. I mean, honestly, we can look at where pitch number equals 1. Why would I get multiple rows back for pitch number equals 1? Oh, it's by at bat. Okay, so that's fine. We can just do at bat, pitch number, at bat number. equals 1. Somehow I get nothing back on that. That's fine. We can look at what else? What else do we have? We should have some inning information. Let's check it out. Atlanta game dot columns. Let's check out. I think we have a. Let's check out inning. Inning is after on first, on second inning. Inning top bottom. So we do have an inning top bottom. Let's go back to gather game info. We'll look up inning. Great. And then what was the other one? It was inning top bottom. Inning top bottom. So let's try that. Let's try inning equals 1. Inning top bot equals top. It's really interesting. I think maybe my Boolean operator isn't working right, because there should definitely be somewhere where inning equals 1, unless there's just not. Let's look at Atlanta game dot inning dot unique. Sorry, inning top bot dot unique. Remember earlier how we only had 100 and something pitches? Right, so we're only getting information for Miami's pitchers, for Atlanta's pitchers, which is good. We know Atlanta's the away team, so bot actually, yeah, that is what we want. Inning number 1, inning top bot equals bot, because that's when the Marlins are hitting. Sorry, Miami. And so we know now Sean Newcomb. We can just check really quick. Sean Newcomb. Braves at. So we know he played for the Braves for some time. We'll just jump in MLB.com really quick, and we'll see Atlanta 2018. 12 games, 3.90 ERA, 31 games. My computer's on Spanish. Shut up in Spanish. So that is what we're looking at so far. So now, if we get that, if we just look at the very first row, dot head 1, it's going to give us all the information, right? But we really just want pitcher. Dot unique. Dot to list. So this is the ID, Atlanta's starting pitcher, of the starting pitcher for Atlanta. If we want to get Miami's starting pitcher, that's where we were having problems, right? So we got Atlanta starting pitcher's number, Sean Newcomb. We got his, so that ID we're going to use to look up in StatCast pitcher. But yes, so how do we get to, so that's going to be Atlanta batters or Miami pitchers, right? Because we can't get to either one of those now based on how the StatCast is delivered. Um, so this is just how Pi Baseball is acting, not necessarily any like inherent data problem anywhere. It's just Pi Baseball specifically. Um, and I want to pull up now the documentation. And we're gonna grab the documentation off of Pi Baseball here. So let's see. In order to get, if we want StatCast pitcher, so we need a player ID. So we might need to run our first function again. So StatCast pitcher is going to be great. Run StatCast pitcher on this pitcher ID to calculate expected batting average over the last 28 days. That'll be kind of another function we build out. But how do we get to Atlanta batters or Miami pitchers? Specifically, like right now, we're looking for the Miami pitcher. But it makes sense to gather game info and then run it through Miami game, gather game info, and then actually run the output of that. It might. So game info. Let's rerun that. I don't want to repeat. I just want game info. And then I want to locate. So I want to be able to locate not mattering whether it's the home team or the away team, just the other team that was not in the initial poll. So if we already have Atlanta's information, okay, we'll worry about that later. So we'll do this, and we'll do game info home team. And that should give us. I'll probably need dot values. Actually, put two. That should work. I shouldn't even do dot values now. I should just go do that. Miami game. Let's try doing dot values. That's something else. All right, let's check out Miami game. Why don't I have anything for that? What is that taken on? Miami game. That was nice. It handled. Give that back to us. Okay, so here's a Miami game. Let's run. So found away team or found home team is Miami. Run that. But really, I would like to have the two teams and then identify the team I've already grabbed, like the team I grabbed here, and then just grab the other team here. That's not actually doing that, but we can build that out later. Miami game. Miami starting pitcher. We'll go as Miami game. And it's going to be all this. I'm not going to rewrite all of that. It's going to be exactly the same. No, it's going to be top. No, not exactly the same. One and top bottom. Miami game. Change data sets. There we go. I have Atlanta starting pitcher. starting pitcher. Fantastic. So now once we have both those numbers, again, we want to run Statcast and pitcher ID to calculate the expecting batting average over the last 28 days. Still, this is going to be a to-do. How do we access better Miami pitchers and Atlanta batters? Only being interested in a single team. So we'll leave that note for later. Statcast pitcher. Start date, end date, player ID. So we'll start with look back period, because remember I said we wanted 28-day or 4-week look back period. So that means there's something I want to grab from here from another notebook too, or just from another script. We have a first date range and a last date range. Import date time. Actually, it's from date time. Import date time and time delta. So this is kind of specific. So let's take apart this first date range really quick. So let's define game day again. Game day 2018-05-13. It's month then day. Now we want to do date time operations, right? So game day minus 28. That doesn't work. Why not? Because we need a time delta, because you can't just take an integer. It's currently a string, and you can't just take an integer and subtract it from a string. It's not going to work. So days in time delta equals that look back period. So does that work? No, time delta is not defined. Let's import that. Look back period is not defined. Awesome. But we still have game day being a string. So we have our time delta look back period, but game day is a string. So that means what? It means we need to turn game day to a date time. And this is strp time. Game day, then you need to find the exact format that it's in. So as we see, it's currently in year, month, day with the hyphens. Good. Now we finally get something that works. We get a date time, April 15th. The only thing that's left is turning it back into a string, because that's what the functions accept. So that is strft or strf time. Turning it back into how we want it, and it's that same format, year, month, day. And then we should have April 15th. Wonderful. So again, first day range, last day range, it's like the same thing as what we just did, so we don't need to do anything else, except now we just do one. So then last day range should be May 12th. Good. Because obviously we don't know how pitchers perform the day of. When we're trying to predict things, we know how they performed the last 4 weeks. So that's what's going to give us that last 4 weeks information. We can get rid of those. And we can put them into another function. So define pitcher last 4 weeks. We want game day, look back period, pitchers. We're generally going to have 2. So let's provide a type hint to a list. List, that's not going to enforce anything, right? It's not going to say, oh, it's going to have to be a list, or it's going to break. But it's going to say, hey, you should probably be putting a list in. And unless I've put in some exception handling, it probably will break if I'm expecting it to be a list. And we want one pitcher, so it's not going to do us any good to put in one pitcher. So we need to define here our first and last date range. Define date ranges. Awesome. So now we've got game day and look back period have been used. And then pull which is going to be StatCast pitcher again. Awesome. And I don't think StatCast pitcher can take a list. I think it actually needs one. It needs one pitcher. So we're gonna have to do 4 pitchers. So we are gonna have to loop over. So we'll create a pitcher data frame. We've got pitchers here, pitcher data frame, PD data frame. It's not always ideal to work with data frames from the jump, but not from the jump, from the once you actually have something that's working. But I usually like to work with them from the jump because it helps me visualize what. So now I'm using that, and I need to save this to temp pitch data frame, pitcher data frame, temp pitch data frame. I want to go ahead and return pitcher data frame, and just want to see pitcher last 4 weeks, and I want 2018 05-13 for a list starting pitcher and Miami starting pitcher. So let's see if this works. Sure, why doesn't it? I got an unexpected indent somewhere. It's fascinating. Player, I need to have, when you have keyword arguments, you can't have like a positional argument following keyword arguments. So we're gathering player data. I should have saved this. Oh, it's concat. And I think I might have this format. So we're going to do what is row bind, Python data frame. Oh, yes. Pitcher data frame equals PD concat. Pitcher data frame and temp pitch data frame. So it has to be a PD concat. Pretty sure. Nice. Loving it. So now we've got information for both the pitchers. What do we want to do now? We want to summarize this. Let's check out the columns. Pitchers, data frame. All right, pitchers, data frame. Dot columns. And now let's see. We have an estimated batting average using speed and angle, which is kind of what we want. This is one of the first things I saw too, which is really cool. So let us grab estimated. Let's grab game date, pitcher, estimated batting average using speed angle. I can't spell, so estimated. Awesome. And then drop NA. So here we do want to drop NA because we have a lot of NA rows for when nothing happened, right? So if we drop NA, now we see these are the pitches where things actually happened on. Like someone hit the ball and it did something. So that's going to be like kind of like batting average on balls in play, BABIP. Pretty much is what this is end up going to be, but it's our expected batting average for batter. So we want to group by to game date and pitcher. And then give me an ag, give me estimated using speed angle. This is turning into a really long line. Might break this up, but dot reset index. So now I've got each day that each pitcher threw on, and I had the estimated BA for those days. And I could even get rid of, right? I could get rid of 8 because I don't really need that differentiation. I just need this. So whoever is 656,794, I would expect it to be Atlanta. Yeah, man. He's tearing it up. Absolutely tearing it up. Very using speed angle, right? So we would have expected Atlanta to win this game. They actually did win this game 4-3, under in the first 5 and under in the total game. So it makes sense. Actually, both these pitchers seem like even .233 is not bad for the past 4 weeks. So I would say that's a good sign so far. That these numbers are pretty low, and that the unders hit in both first 5 and full game. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this information. Let us drop it right here. So we're going to pitcher DF short. Just kind of make things easier to chew, right? Pitcher DF short. So that's what it looks like. We have game date, we have pitcher, we've estimated BA speed angle. So that's only on balls in play. So it's every time the ball got hit from one of these pitchers, what was the estimated batting average using speed angle. And then we want to do pitcher DF short to get back to those two values. Final DF, final pitching DF. But we don't want it to necessarily look like this, right? Because we want it to flip around and we want it to be one row. We don't necessarily need the pitcher, but we do need the pitcher because we want to be able to identify home or away. So this gets back into what we were dealing with earlier. So how do we get from where we're at now, which where we're at now is what you're seeing here's pitcher with their ID numbers and their estimated BA using speed angle. We may not even need to get back to home or away. We might just need to get back to team. So how can we get to that information from where we're at? Thinking about this. This is when I could use audience participation. Be fun here. And there's like, it rained, and so there's water dripping right outside the door, but for some reason I can hear it really loud. So I don't know if you can hear that. It's definitely been annoying me more than a little bit for the last little while. See, final pitching. So need to get to pitcher IDs, map back to team. And format into the data frame correctly. The original team I was looking for was Atlanta. Man, this is a tricky part. Trying to think about our StatCast data. Let's just pull example. Actually, I have an example right here. Atlanta game. We have .pitcher, .unique, .head1, .unique, .head1, .values, 0. So we know where that number came from because we know this is Atlanta game versus if we were to change this to Miami game, right? Then we have that one. And we have these two. So we could attach their team back to it. We could do iter rows here. What's available to us? Because I still want a better way to be able to get at Miami here using the game info. So this might be when we need to actually come back to this. Game info, and we started with Atlanta. Get a game info, home team and away team. Sorry, game info. And it's not two. I can't do a two list here, can I? I can do a two dict. Oh, nice. Dot items. Nice. Okay, cool. So teams equals v for kv and it's not iterable. Oh, I need to add. I think I need to add that. Teams. I don't like accessing dictionaries. Dict values Miami. Does that equal Miami? Does not equal Miami. Okay, what do we have for teams? This 88 Miami, this 88 Atlanta. I don't necessarily know what that is. Right, we want to access the first value. I feel like the 88 is a key. So items. V for KV again. And I don't love that, but it works. Teams items. List object. Teams items. But teams is not a list. Well, yeah, okay. It's a list that contains two dictionaries. So we're gonna do, I think dict is reserved for dict object and teams. It's almost 656. V KV and dict object dot items. Amazing. Nope, not that. Too much. team list. I'm going to append a blank list. And then I'm going to team list append team. See if that works. Team list gives me Miami and Atlanta. I feel like I shouldn't have to have a list of lists here. I feel like I should have been able to whip that out. Unnest list in Python. I can't tell you how many times I've searched this term. I think this works. Shout out to Stack Overflow. Item for sublist and L for item sublist. See if that works. Yep, great, that works. Team flat, team flat. So good, I've got both the teams that played in this game. Wonder, can I access the team? It'd be good if it was a class. I'd be able to access the team. All right. So we are hitting up on 7 o'clock. So I need to go. We're gonna end it here. But so what did we accomplish today? We actually accomplished a lot of stuff. Again, currently, so this is a to-do for next time. Just find a better way to grab the teams. This is close to being in a good spot. This is where it's important to know, like, what are different Python objects and different things. It will, right, identify that, it's okay, it's a list with 2 dictionaries in it. Sometimes just verbalizing that, you're like, oh, okay. So, right, the teams, that's what was able to pull it out of our initial data frame to dict items. And if I wanted to, I could add that maybe functionality in here, but functions should stay simple. It's perfect either. Might be other things I need to do with this, but it's a decent start. And then I noticed that I needed to look at each dictionary, and then again it was a dictionary. So Teams itself, right, made me get to this point, and then I had to look. Okay, one list, 2 dictionaries. Let me look at one dictionary at a time. Key value, key value. So I need to get the value for key value in the items. That was able. Then we're able to append the team, and I thought it was going to be 0, but that didn't work. So the way I did it, just nested the list and then unnested it at the end here. So it becomes one list, and then there probably is a better way to do this, and I could spend more time looking, but I do try to move quickly during these things. And then we actually got a lot done with this part too. I don't love how I'm getting this right now, so I would love a new way. So let's leave a note here, right? To do, find a new way to get starting pitcher IDs. But like I said, yeah, the difficult thing here is, was I had to, because the StatCast data, when I pulled the Atlanta game, I only got information, because I only got half, right, the game, right, 141 rows. That's all the pitches that Atlanta threw. So I didn't get Miami's pitches, right? So this gives all the pitches that Atlanta threw, not Miami. That has to be different. So this is a way to find, like, okay, we queried the first team. Now let's grab the game info. If Atlanta, right, or if team 1 was queried in the first query, in the first function pull, skip it, then move to team 2. In this case, we know the home team. We do this first. Home team is Miami, and we called for Atlanta. Um, and I'm doing this because I really just want to put in one team. I don't want to have to put in right specific matchup. I just want to be able to like, hey, what's going to happen in the Chicago Cubs game today? And I want to be able to grab that information. So I'm going to query one team and then just grab the information about this game. So that's what we're doing right here. We get to team flat. Team flat tells us that Miami and Atlanta are playing. In this specific example, we know that Miami was not the one we queried, so then we're going to query the next one. But we need to compare it to this first run of gather game info, and we can work on that next time, right? So we'll keep working on this gather game info. We thought it was going to be really easy just to get to a point where we had, like in our mock model, date, home, away, and then all the information. So we kind of do have this, but getting this is going to be trickier, right? Getting all this information. Of course, that's going to be interesting, the first 5 home and away. But of course, we're building a system too, right? We're not just, we want it to make sense for one game. We want it to work for one game. So we can then just run it and run it for a lot of games, train it for a lot of games. In a way, this is also going to be